Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to continue practicing subtraction. We're also going to focus on addition, all within some word problems. So let's get started. Before we get started, I just want to remind you some of those precise words that we use in math. Take a look. Addend plus addend equals sum. Addend, addend, sum. Awesome. And then for subtraction, we have minuend, subtrahend, difference. Good. If you need to refer back to these, please feel free to come back and look at this as a reminder. Let's start on our whiteboards by solving for the variable of t. So the value we're solving for is t. What I want you to do is either on your place value chart or your whiteboard, if you could write out this problem. Make sure to start by lining up each place value. Being nice and neat helps. I want you to pause your video, take 2 or 3 minutes, and try to solve this on your own, okay? And then we're gonna go over it. I know we did this problem last week, but I just wanna make sure we know how to borrow from each place value. Awesome, thanks for solving this problem on your whiteboard. What I'd like to do is I'd like to show you my thought process of how I solve this problem. So first and foremost, I'm going to start in my ones place. 0 minus 0 is 0. Then I go to my tens place. 0 minus 0 is 0. Now, I'm going to go to my hundreds place and I have 0 minus 5. I can't have 0 and take 5 away. It's just not possible. So I would need to go to my next place value and borrow. But it's 0. So I would have to go to my next place value. But it's 0. So I would have to go to my next place value. But it's 0. So I'm going to go all the way to my millions place, and this is where I can borrow. I'm going to borrow. This now becomes a big fat juicy 0. And this in the hundred thousands place becomes 10. Now that I have 10 there, I can borrow from the hundred thousands place into the 10,000s place. So I'm going to borrow 1 and bring it to the 10,000s place. Now in the 10,000s place that I have a number, I can borrow from it. So I'll take 1 away. And now in the thousands place, because I have a number, I can borrow from it. So I'll take 1 away. And now I can subtract. So we have to go place value by place value, okay? So now I can do 10 minus 5, which we know is 5, 9 minus 2, which we know is 7, 9 minus 9 is 0, and 9 minus 5 is 4. Now, we have a value of t as 407,500. Last week, we learned 2 different strategies to check our work. What I want to do is I want to take a second and check our work. So one strategy we learned was called the inverse operation, which means the opposite operation. So I had my answer of 407,500. And to check my work, I would do the opposite, which means I'm going to add to it. So I'm going to look back at my subtrahend and I'm going to add that. And if when I add these 2 numbers, if I'm correct, it should equal 1 million. So let's check and see if it equals 1 million. So I had 592,500. Sorry that they're not perfectly lined up, but I didn't do a table. Let's see here. So I start in my ones place. 0 minus 0 is 0. 0 minus 0 is 0. 5 plus 5 is 10, so I have to regroup. 7 plus 1 is 8. 8 plus 2 is 10. Sorry, I had my comma. 1 plus 0 is 1, plus 9 is 10. Regroup. 4 plus 1 is 5, 5 plus 5 is 10. There's a 0 here and there's a 0 here. So 1 plus 0 plus 0 is 1. So it equals 1 million. Therefore, I know for my value of t, it is correct that it is 407,500. Remember, this answer, this right here was our answer. So some people, when they check their work, they're like, oh, my answer is 1 million. But no, that's just us checking our work. So our value of t, 407,500. Please give yourself like a thumb up, a pat on the back, give your brain a kiss if you took the time to double check your work. I think that's a great habit to get in. So good job. All right, friends, let's keep moving. How do we solve a word problem? So in 4th grade, we solve word problems by just simply breaking it apart. So first we just have to simply read it. Then I like to do roadblocks along the way and break up my thinking at each punctuation. So when I come to a period, put a roadblock. Put a comma, I put a roadblock. If I just get to a lot of information, I put a roadblock. Something to show that I'm breaking up the problem. I like to underline or identify the question. Sometimes there's more than one question. And of course, we need to show our thinking. I told you the last few weeks, I really like the tape diagrams because it shows like the equation of what we're solving. Let's go ahead and start our very first one. Tank A holds 678,500 gallons of water. Oh, that's a lot. Tank B, oh my, holds 905,857 gallons of water. How much less water does tank A hold than tank B? So I want to first just start by putting some roadblocks in. There was a lot of information here, something about tank A and how much water it held. Then there was tank B and it held a different amount of water. That's another part. And then we have that question. So I like to underline or do something. We're trying to figure out how much less water it holds. Because tank B definitely holds less, or tank A definitely holds less, sorry. If we look, 600,000 is way less than 900,000. So we're trying to find that difference. So let's go ahead and draw our tape diagram. We have tank A and we have tank B, and we're trying to find the difference between them. So we need to subtract. Take a second, set up your equation, pause your video, and then check back with me to see if you set it up correctly. Awesome. I hope you noticed because we were subtracting, your larger number needed to become your minimum. And then we can subtract. So we're going to begin in the ones place. 7 minus 0 is 7. 5 minus 0 is 5. 8 minus 5 is 3. 5 minus 8, ooh, I can't do that. So I need to borrow. I'm going to go to my 10,000s place, but I have nothing to borrow from because there's a 0. So I have to go to my 100,000s place. This now becomes an 8, and I can borrow to here. Now I can look here and I can see, oh, I have something to borrow from. So let's take it away and borrow from it. So now I have 15 minus 8. 15 minus 8 is 7, so I'll put that in there. 9 minus 7 is 2, and 8 minus 6 is 2. Now, this shows the difference of how much more water tank B holds. I want to take a second. How could I check my work? What could I do to double check that this truly is accurate? Pause your video, and I want you to do whatever strategy you want. Maybe you want to do estimation. Maybe you want to do the inverse operation. But I would like you to take a second and double check your work. So go ahead and pause your video and double check. Okay, So I double checked my work and I noticed that I got my minions here. I got 905,857. I did the inverse operation, which meant I added them up, giving me a total difference of 227,357. That's how many more gallons of water tank B holds. Okay? Awesome. So now let's go ahead and let's have you guys try one on your own. Remembering to do the roadblocks, to show your thinking with a tape diagram. I think those are great strategies to get in the habit of. So let's start by simply, reading your problem. Mark had $25,081 in his bank account on Thursday. On Friday, he added his paycheck to the bank account, okay? And he then had $26,010 in the account. What was the amount of Mark's paycheck? So we're trying to find that paycheck, that missing amount. We don't know. We know what he started with and we know what he ended with. We don't know what he put in. So what I want you to do is to take a minute and on your whiteboard, I'd like you to draw your tape diagram. Show Thursday's bank account, show Friday's, and then what are we trying to solve for? So go ahead and pause your video. Awesome, friends. Hopefully, when you did this, you showed how much he had on his bank account on Thursday and how much he had on Friday. Now we can see we're trying to find that missing part. How much was the actual paycheck? So we're going to do a subtraction problem. We're going to find that difference. So I'd like you to go ahead and pause your video and start subtracting. Go ahead and subtract. I don't have the answer here, do I? Okay. Go ahead and subtract this equation and then check back with me. Awesome. So hopefully I'm going to show you how I solved it. I start in my ones place. 0 minus 1. I can't do that. So I have to borrow. Now I can subtract. 10 minus 1 is 9. I go to my next place value. 0 minus 8. I can't do that. So I go to my next place value. But it's a 0. I can't do that. So I have to borrow again. When I borrow, now that I've borrowed from here, I actually have a number in the hundreds place that I could borrow from. Here we go. Sorry. 10 minus 8. Hopefully you got a difference of 2. 9 minus 0 is 9. 5 minus 5 is 0. 2 minus 2 is 0. So I don't need to write anything there. I'd like you to pause your video and double check that this is correct. So we're going to do that inverse operation, or you can estimate to see if it's accurate. Up to you. So pause your video and solve. When I did my inverse operation, so I added 929 to my 25,081, I did get a total of 26,010. So I know my 929 is accurate. So I'll go ahead and remember it's money, how much his paycheck was. So I'm going to put that in there with my total amount. Okay, friends? Nice job today practicing your subtraction and with word problems. What I'd like you to do now is I'd like you, using your whiteboard, to head to Schoology and do your exit ticket. Remember, take your time, show your work. If you want to use your place value chart to line up your place value, use those roadblocks, those strategies that we learned. Roadblocks, do that tape diagram to show your thinking. Did you answer the question? Did you have an answer statement? And when you're done, if you want to do Prodigy or Quizlet, math homework is due next Friday. Use your time wisely, okay, guys? Thanks for working hard.